I think to live that life, I'd have to quit streaming. It doesn't make sense to do both. Okay, chat, should we talk about the drama? There's been some drama. Should we talk about it? Let's take a look. Okay, it's not the scary transgender posts. That is not the drama. Oh, this is fine. It was actually this post here from Fatigue Student. And it says, going from tip to tip to the recent slop is a wild transition. And okay, off rip, what a mean comparison. Because they compared the entire series that cost a fuck ton of money, that took like 7 people to produce, to a live stream thumbnail. It's such an unfair comparison. That's why it's a wild transition. But it's not a transition because it's a different medium. Now, I think it would be fair if you were to say what a wild transition and you were to post a screenshot of the video versus this video. That's fair. But the live stream, it would be like saying what a wild transition and then pulling up a YouTube short. It's a different medium. You can't. Tip to Tip was never a live stream product. They're so different. But I do think there are still people, by the way, who, screenshots aside, would still make this argument about this series versus this video. And then the comment gets into a debate. So let's take a look at some of them. Gotta put out the slop to pay the bills. Tip to Tip can't exist without the slop. And then follow through Mark says, I think plenty of creators prove that you can make good content without having to rely on slop. Which is true. Which is true. But, and this is a key word, usually what that elicits is a much lower upload frequency. So I'm going to give you an example of a creator who does not upload slop, but also rarely uploads. Michael Reeves. Michael Reeves. Which could be the play, right? You could go Michael Reeves. You could, if you wanted, I could only upload when I think it's like a really maybe exciting video. He's just lazy. That's different. And I could be wrong here. I don't think you know Michael even a little bit. Michael's not lazy. I think it's a bad word to describe Michael. I do think he likes Fortnite, but I don't think by any means he is lazy. I think he likes owning the entire part of the YouTube process, and he doesn't want to give up any part of it. So making a single video requires him to film it. Well, I guess for backup, make the concept, build the fucking thing, because he's always building something, film the entire thing, edit the entire thing, upload the thing. It's a pretty involved process. Okay? And he edits while he goes, and it's a lot of work, right? Like Michael will take a month or two just to learn a new coding language or how to animate or how to, you know what I'm saying? Like he'll spend a month doing that. But the result is that in Michael Reeves' entire YouTube channel, he's posted 53 videos. Okay, for reference, and we got slop in there, I'm at 2.3 thousand. How does he make money? Well, and here's the next thing. He doesn't. Like, I think people have an idea that YouTubers are rich, and they are, okay? It's kind of a recession-proof industry, and if you make good video, you get views, you get money. Michael, relative to how big he is as a YouTuber, is not rich. He's not rich like other YouTubers with 7 million subscribers are. Lily is low-key a sugar mommy because she gets to fucking make the streaming bucks, which is relatively slop, way more content. I personally am cool with the slop, and we do slop. There's a lot of like ideas that I want to do that I'm excited about doing. Okay, Tip to Tip was one of them. Streamer games, you know, you can go back. Unpaid intern, chess boxing, you know, these things are expensive and usually by themselves do not make money. You know, the concepts I want to do usually aren't money makers. And so I make the slop, which makes a lot of money outside of it. And then that can fund doing cooler things. But, and this is a key fact here, I also have big team. I got big team. I have 13 employees, 12 employees still, just at Mogul. Not off-brand games, just Mogul. I got 4 editors, a coder. Tim's full time. I got a Kelby. I got an Eamon. Got a couple people on merch. I got a big ass team. Okay. So I have to keep producing things so that the team make money. And they can't all be things that I think are cool that don't make money. Does that make sense? Is this straightforward? Now, Tip to Tip actually did make money. Tip to Tip did not lose money. And I actually think there's an opportunity to do more travel content. I think that's a space that people are excited about, that people like. I think the way I do it is different from other people. Like an example of a travel vlogger is Ryan Trahan, right? Like Ryan Trahan is low-key just a travel vlogger. Kind of a new age one who does conceptual travel vlogs. I think what's different about me is like my interactions with people, somewhat unfiltered, and hopefully getting through the situation with charm. Sometimes it doesn't work. And Ryan's is his awkward charm and unending positivity. But I can't do it while being a streamer, I think. I think to live that life, I'd have to quit streaming. It doesn't make sense to do both. Because streaming doesn't really work if you're not doing it consistently. Doesn't make sense to stream like once a week. It just doesn't even make sense. I Show Speed. He is a consistent streamer. Now, he doesn't stream many hours when he goes live sometimes, but he's a very consistent streamer. Like, he'll take a week off, but then he'll go to China and stream every day for like 10 days straight. And I can't do both. And I also think traveling that much would just be bad for my personal life. So maybe there's a day. I think there might be a day where I do pivot and I leave the stream life and I do more travel stuff. But it would be because I am streaming way less. If at all. Because tip to tip and live streaming are like polar opposites. It makes no sense to do both. You know what I'm saying? It don't even make sense. Couldn't you just do it like the cyclothon? That's not my style. What I think I like is interacting with people. End of sentence. And I think when you do it live, it's a lot different than doing it filmed. Now, I think some people are able to do it live as if they weren't live, or, you know, like I Show Speed's a good example. I Show Speed's a guy who can be live streaming video, or excuse me, like travel content, and like doesn't fucking care that he's live and says what he wants to say and does what he want to do. But I have a blocker in my brain. I can't be live, go up to someone with a fucking camera in their face, and then, you know, be mildly entertaining. I can do it if I vlog it, I think. But yeah, I do think it takes away from the moment. Because I like to be like 100% engaged with the person I'm talking to. And if I have a chat I'm worried about, or that's critiquing how I'm engaging or whatever, that fucking ruins it for me instantly. It's not even social anxiety. Like, I don't give a fuck. But it takes me out of the moment I'm living in. Jake and Bake said true. And he does that. Anyway, let's go through. Was thinking the same thing after seeing another Chat Spends Money video. Honestly, I was surprised at the amount. Well, actually, to be honest, Amazon streams perform incredibly well. But the worse the economy gets, and the worse America is as a nation, the more and more insane it is to do them. Do you see what I'm saying? Like when Americans are getting kicked out of the country and stonks are down and no one can buy a house and inflation is up, going around and spending $10,000 or $30,000 becomes a little bit, not even a little bit, a lot of bit cringe. It's just a little out of touch, a little tasteless. I think a lot of slop he does for streams is actually pretty entertaining and generally solid content, random game addiction, story times, series watch-alongs, clip reactions, impromptu friend collabs, but I definitely agree the trend of no ideas, let's watch 3 hours of random videos is significantly more boring than anything else he does. Yeah, I mean, I think it's fair. He's right. Yeah, look, I think, but like, you don't know the idea is going to be good or bad until you do the idea. But you shouldn't buckle cowardly because the idea is not going how you thought it would. You fucking power through. So like, I'll say it's slop, but I don't agree with you like in the premise that slop is bad. For example, the stream ends when I find myself is actually a great stream. I think it'll be an amazing video. I think it's fun. Is it slop? Yeah, we're watching the worst YouTube shorts of all fucking time. But I think it's fun. Watching the biggest YouTube channels in the world? Also slop, but bad. Because we're watching bad content and we're kind of forced to watch it. And there's not necessarily an objective as opposed to getting through the list. Still, we'll probably be good in a YouTube video when it's cut down. But you don't fucking quit because it's not going or maybe as fun. Or, you know what I'm saying? It's like you got the idea. You commit to that shit. I don't know about y'all, but I miss dubbing in the holeless. Bring it back. I don't even know if we have the fucking file anymore. I do need another game. I think. The try and find myself stream is hilarious. I'll die on this hill. Retweet. Fucking tweet. I missed the slop though. We just had Infinity War and Endgame, but now we're to normal Marvel, and it's so ass. Dude, complaining about slop and then using Marvel as your comparison. That's gotta be satire. That just has to be. Fung, we had literal peak with friggin' Endgame and Infinity War. And now we're back to Ant-Man's bitch ass. It's actually a good comparison? No, it's not. No, it's not. They're all slop. Now, look, don't get me wrong. Superheroes movies rule. But they're all slop. It's just the king of slop. And Endgame is slop. Slop can be good. Yeah, but it is slop. So it's a good comparison. I don't think it's a good comparison because I don't think people are saying tip to tip is slop. I think people are saying we're back to slop after tip to tip is over. Endgame was not slop. Endgame's 100% slop. It's 100% slop. It's a money-making slop machine. Are you saying tip to tip is better than Endgame? No. Because I think you're conflating slop with bad and things that are not slop as good. Okay, Lighthouse. The movie Lighthouse is not slop. It's also not necessarily that fun of a movie to watch. Okay? It's not that fucking fun of a movie to watch. Does that make it slop because it's not that fun to watch for people? No. But it's not slop. It's a thought-provoking film. So define slop. I think slop, if we're going to define it simply, is something, I guess in this case media, whose main motive is making money. I think that might be the simplest way to put it. The main motive is to make as much money as possible. I think you guys are, yeah, and I think that generally correlates to mass appeal. I wouldn't necessarily say lower effort. I would say easily digestible, mass marketed. I think it's a good way to put it. Isn't that just grift? No. Grift is when you're doing that, but you don't believe in the thing you're doing. You can want to make money and still try hard at making something cool or something that people like. Is the art slop? Please. Let's be serious for a moment. Of course. Is lemonade stand slop? And here's the funny thing. It's slop that makes you feel like it's not slop. And that's some of the most powerful slop there is. It's slop that makes you think you're learning, and so you don't identify it as slop in your head. Most entertainment is, yeah, of course. I think it's almost the inherent purpose of entertainment is to be slop.